U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with top officials in the Philippines, reaffirming the supposed unique relationship between the two countries. Some progressive groups are flagging Blinken's visit, saying it could put the Philippines right in the middle of the U.S.-China power struggle. Health authorities warn that COVID hospitalizations may increase in the next few weeks. And the U.S. declares the monkeypox outbreak as a public health emergency. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your weekend. I'm Angela Lagunsad. We begin the broadcast with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. saying Philippine-U.S. relations must continue evolving, while U.S. diplomat Antony Blinken reaffirmed their commitment to the U.S.'s Mutual Defense Treaty with the Philippines. More in this report by J.C. Cosico.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with President Bongbong Marcos at the Malacanang Palace on Saturday. During the meeting, Marcos emphasized the importance of the country's relationship with Washington amid changing regional and global landscape with recent tensions between China and Taiwan, as well as Ukraine and Russia. The president also said he wants the relationship between the U.S. and Philippines to continue evolving.
This just points to the fact of the importance of the relationship between the United States and the Republic of the Philippines. I hope that we will continue to evolve that relationship in the face of all the changes that we have been seeing and the changes that are between in our bilateral relationship.
Blinken, for his part, reaffirmed the commitment of the U.S. to the Mutual Defense Treaty with the Philippines.
The alliance is strong, and I believe can grow even stronger. We're committed to the Mutual Defense Treaty. We're committed to working with you on shared challenges.
After his Malacanang visit, Blinken met and held a press conference with Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo, where security concerns were among the topics discussed.
We look to strengthening our cooperation to better address current and emerging security threats. We welcome the U.S. government's assurances of their readiness to work closely with the new Philippine administration in advancing our shared objective of promoting peace and prosperity.
On the Beijing-Taipei tension, meanwhile, Blinken said maintaining peace in Taiwan is vital not only for the region, but also to the Philippines and other countries. He added they are open to any communication with China.
We'll keep our channels of communication with China open, with the intent of avoiding escalation due to misunderstanding or miscommunication.
As for the Philippines, Manalo said the country and other members of ASEAN are ready to see how they can help to reduce the growing tension. For News 5, J.C. Cosico, We Are One News.
Several progressive groups have condemned the visit of U.S. State Secretary Antony Blinken in the country. In a statement, women rights group Gabriela questions the visit of the U.S. official as tension grows between China and Taiwan. They say the Philippines should not be caught in between of, quote, U.S.-China power struggle. The group also reiterated its call on the government to abrogate the Mutual Defense Treaty and the Visiting Forces Agreement with the U.S., something that the League of Filipino Students echoed in their statement as the group held a protest against Blinken's visit. They add that these treaties exploit Filipinos and the Philippine economy. Senators are urging U.S., China, and Taiwan not to militarize the recent visit of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to the territory. Senate Committee on National Defense Chair Senator Jinggoy Estrada maintains the Philippines should remain neutral on the issue. He adds that he has scheduled a briefing on the situation on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel notes that while the situation can be addressed through democracy, the country must be prepared for anything given the proximity of Taiwan and the presence of some 140,000 OFWs in the territory. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. COVID hospitalization in a few months if the public continues to disregard health protocols and miss out on getting vaccinated. JC Cosico with the report. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Angela Lagunsad. The DOH warns of a possible increase in COVID hospitalizations in a few months if the public continues to disregard health protocols and miss out on getting vaccinated. JC Cosico with the report.
COVID-19 cases in the country are still on a steady rise. Latest data from the Health Department shows that positivity rate nationwide has gone up to 18%. COVID cases have also been averaging about 3,700 per day for the past week. But the DOH expects this to climb if disregard for health protocols continue, along with low booster take-up and the threat of new variants. DOH Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergeres says daily cases could climb to as much as 19,000 by end August.
If the assumption would be magtutuloy-tuloy na bumababa ang compliance ng ating mga kababayan sa ating pagmamask, sa ating pag-uugas ng kamay, pagpunta sa masisikip na lugar, at saka kung mame-maintain lang at hindi na mag-i-improve ang pagbabakuna natin, especially for the first booster shots.
Despite the uptick in cases, the country remains at low risk for COVID-19. COVID hospital admissions are also seeing a rise, but remains at low-risk classification. But the DOH warns against complacency, saying admissions could still increase from September to October. This as the country detects more cases of Omicron sub-variants. The DOH also clarified it has removed prioritization in getting jabs. This means all eligible persons, regardless of age and profile, will be allowed to get the primary shots.
Ngayon po that we have enough supplies are sufficient until the end of this year, wala na ho tayong ginagawang prioritization. Lahat po nung tinatawag natin na eligible population, maari na magpabakuna. Pag sinabi po nating eligible, ibig sabihin, pasok kayo dun sa criteria nung siyensya.
The move to open vaccinations is expected to address the issue of expiring vaccines, which is now the subject of Senate inquiry. But the Health Department insists that the rate of vaccine wastage in the country remains low, below 10%. Nevertheless, Vergeres says they are prepared to answer questions regarding the matter. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
The emergence of new COVID subvariants has been driving cases up, according to a public health expert. Dr. Tony Liachon told The Big Story that surveillance for variants like the BA.5, BA.4, and the recently detected BA.2.75 remains to be a challenge. Liachon added that there could be more cases left undetected as symptoms from these subvariants are believed to be more manageable compared to the initial COVID strains. Meanwhile, infectious disease...
It's actually a sub-variant of concern right now, not only BA.5, but the other sub-variants like BA.4 and the latest 2.75. We see a lot of patients on telemedicine, and then slowly the healthcare utilization rate is going up as well.
Meanwhile, infectious diseases expert Dr. Rotjean Solante is urging the government to allow all vaccines to be used as COVID-19 booster shots. Solante said this will help address vaccine wastage.
We were recommending all vaccines can be used as booster, okay? Not only the mRNA, but what happened is that only the mRNA vaccines were being used, and I think that's why a lot of Astra vaccines expired. No? So, sayang din. Okay. So these are some of the important issues on the ground.
The U.S. has declared monkeypox as a health emergency, while back here in the home front, health officials have recorded the first case in July. But what happens if one gets infected with the virus, and how can it be avoided? This Bloomberg Quick Take tells us.
U.S. health officials declared monkeypox a public health emergency, freeing up more funding to help fight the virus. As a health reporter, I've been getting a lot of questions such as, can I get monkeypox? What happens if I do? So let's break it down. The virus has spread to more than 26,000 people globally, and the U.S. leads the world in known cases, according to the CDC. Monkeypox spreads through close, personal, skin-to-skin contact, such as sexual contact. Touching objects and surfaces used by someone with monkeypox is another way to contract the virus. It also can spread through respiratory secretions, like when you're kissing. If you live in a household with someone who has monkeypox, it's important to wipe down shared surfaces, wash your hands frequently, and wear a mask. If you're at risk, get the 2-dose vaccine before being exposed and contracting the virus. If you think you have it, first contact your healthcare provider. Common symptoms of monkeypox can include fever, headache, muscle aches and backache, swollen lymph nodes, chills, and exhaustion. Symptoms usually appear 1 to 2 weeks after exposure. Most people recover within a few weeks without treatment, but must remain isolated as long as sores are present. As of now, vaccine appointments have filled up quickly in places like New York City and San Francisco, and demand still far exceeds supply. But health experts say supply constraints will likely ease over time.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Angela Lagunsad. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.